Hey, hey, hey.
Hey now.
Welcome back to Girl Chat Sports. You know we're here, Mo and Mel in the house. It's another West Coast Wednesday. We got a
Hump
little East
day.
Coast action coming up.
It is hump day. Let's
Yes,
go.
yes.
These
So,
Hawks are taking it to the Bucks. I have to say this right now. I know you guys are tuning in. We appreciate you tuning in because we know there's an action-packed game one of the Eastern Conference
yes.
Finals on. We love that you chose us over them, but we will give you the play-by-play. Just tune in with us because we got.
Well, you don't got, I mean, you can do both. You do both. I mean, you could have the TV and your
As long as
phone
they're
on.
actively listening to us
Yeah.
and knowing what's going on, not getting distracted. Yes, because in the meantime, right now in this opening, you can share, let your friends know that we're live, all that
Right?
great stuff, and get our Wednesday jamming.
Exactly, exactly. Well, before we get started, I just wanted to give a big shout out to our sponsor this month, House of Paws. Mo, take it away.
House of Paws.
So for
Toss it
all
up.
of your fur kids or animals in the house, listen, you know this is Tilly and Shug's best place to be at. They've got all the great stuff, food, treats, supplements, everything. Make sure you get in there. Say hi to Megan for us. And make sure you mention Girl Chat Sports, because if you do, you'll get a free item with your purchase. So make sure to check them out.
House of Paws.
House of Paws. Yes, but let's get into it. We are super excited to have our guest on tonight. We'll just get her on and get a little intro going with
Yeah.
her. So yes, yes. Oh, I think she's muted. There she is.
There she is.
Hey, Terrika Foster-Brasby. Thank you so much for joining us today. We are super excited. I see you've got your 25th year anniversary t-shirt on, which I love. Yes. We're definitely going to have a nice little WNBA discussion as well. I can't wait to get into some of the discussion points with you in regards to the season, the teams, Olympics, the 3-on-3 that was mentioned today, like everything going on. So give our viewers just a little bit about you, kind of like, what you're, how you got your start into sports journalism and kind of what you're doing now.
Yeah, well, first off, thanks so much for having me, ladies. I'm always excited to talk sports with some fellow chicks, man. We have to hold it down, right? So that's definitely exciting. But yeah, I'm Terrika Foster-Brasby. I am a producer at ESPN. I work on the Around the Rim podcast, which is the women's basketball podcast. So I work alongside LaChina Robinson, women's basketball analyst. She's amazing. So I'm very fortunate to work with her and so many other people in women's basketball. So it's really dope. I'm also a multimedia journalist. So I've written for the New York Times, The Undefeated, Fansided, ESPNW, just wherever I can spread the word about, women's sports and women of color. I'm absolutely here for it. So I'm excited. I'm excited to be here. Kind of been doing this for, 2021? These years are starting to run together,
yes,
y'all.
They are.
2021. So
yes, they are.
Okay. But about 8 years now, I've been professionally, I'm going to use air quotes, professionally in the sports business, but pretty much this has been my entire life, whether as a fan, whether just in the bar giving my take to a bunch of dudes who think they're ready, but they're really not. It's been my entire life for a long time. But I guess professionally, I've been in this industry about 8 years.
Wow. And that's the best part, I think, is when I got me and Mo into it, or, it's always that we wanted to make sure that other women out there know it's okay to like go out there and challenge guys, whether you're at the office, the bar, wherever, because they always think they know everything. And then they get shocked and want to debate you when you have a good point or something they don't. And it's kind of like, it's okay. We can do that. Women have the power to correct these guys who come up with their own interpretations of sports, and everybody has opinions and we love that. But it's like, I feel like guys, their egos get bruised a little bit.
Yeah, all the time. Step into me will get your ego bruised a lot.
Probably more than that. Probably a nice little cry, a box of Kleenex. Just bruised, all egos, Band-Aid needed, surgery needed, all that. You probably have them signing DNRs after you done with them. Like,
I love it. I love it though. I love it though. I used to bartend for like 10 years, and obviously, what's the one thing people want to do on a Sunday? They want to come to the bar and talk football. And I was like, cool, y'all, this is right up my speed. Football is my favorite sport. And that got ugly real quick because then it got ugly for them, not for me. It actually benefited me a lot because they would keep coming back to the bar to be like, well, this week. And I'm just like, well, the more you keep coming back, the more money you spend, the bigger my tips. So keep coming back.
Yeah. I'll take that money. Keep coming back. So how does that, and just an off subject question then, because obviously I know for me and Mo, sometimes it's hard when the guys always want a girl that loves sports. They always say they want to have a girl that loves sports. But when it comes down to it and you end up wanting to watch sports more than them or need to go travel for a game or want to sit down and make sure your calendar's clear for a day, they're like, wait, what? Like,
right. No,
so how does that work? How is that for you in your relationship? Like, it worked out well that you love sports and he loves sports, so it's good. Because some guys are like, well, you like this too much. Like, you can't do that. You
know what? You are absolutely right. There have been some very unsuccessful ones where I'm like, don't call me on Sunday. It's football Sunday. I'm not doing nothing. And fortunately, though, my husband is a super huge sports fan, and I am probably one of the lucky ones to have a partner who does not have a rival team of mine, because that would have ended the relationship very quickly.
That's tough.
So he's totally NFC East for football. He's Sixers for basketball. He's from Philadelphia, so he's all Philly. I'm from Detroit. So outside of football, I'm a Colts fan, but outside of that, I'm Detroit Tigers, Red Wings, Pistons. So honestly, like, we're not even really in the same conference for anything outside of NBA. And my Pistons have been so irrelevant for so long that he's just like, you got it, except last night with that number 1 draft pick. Okay.
Yes.
But
yes.
So it works. It genuinely works. We put our calendars together. I think the biggest problem we have is we're in the process of moving. And when we talk about like a man cave, I say it can't be a man cave. It has to be like a game cave. You have a side and I have a side. Like, that's just how this has to work.
It's just a family sports cave, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like that should be it. Maybe you can decorate one half and I can decorate the other half, but yeah.
No. I'm gonna need my own cave, because I don't need you, if you're a rival person, to be in the same space or energy as me. You have your cave at the end of the house. I have my cave at the end of the house. We'll meet up in the middle after it's all said and done. Maybe we'll shake on it in bed. Maybe we won't, but I cannot split a room. That's enough. I can't even do that with my clothing closet. Let alone a sports den. No way.
That's hilarious.
Now, how long have you been married for?
I've been married for 5 years. We've been together. This year will be 10. And it's, again, like, it just works because he's NFC East and I'm AFC South. So we see each other once every 4 years. No big deal. Like, if he had been a Patriots fan or anything like that, wouldn't have worked. Texans wouldn't have worked. Like, none of that would have worked. And then on his end too, he's like, Cowboys, Washington football. Wouldn't have worked. So there we go.
I think it's good we have a checklist when it comes to the sports and the guys, what teams we will not compromise on.
Yeah.
And I have to say that Cowboys is definitely on the list for me, and possibly Mel too. And
Cowboys and Niners for sure.
Cowboys, Patriots, Chargers. I'm a Raiders girl, so I have to go all the way down that ticket. It's tough. But to your point, I wish you the best that works. That the opposites, like, that's good. Because what you don't want is somebody that's the same fan as you and you're an overzealous fan than they are. And you're willing to get into the bar fights or the brawls at the arena before your husband does, if you guys were on the same team.
You know what? It's funny. And I'll just say this one quick thing. A couple of years ago, we went to Philadelphia because the Colts actually played the Eagles in Philly. And we went to a game in Philly. And of course, I've got like this old school Manning jersey on. And everyone had to like double check that it said 18 because they're thinking Eli Manning. And I was like, wait a minute. I am for sure going to get into a fight in this bar because someone's going to think I'm a Giants fan.
Yeah,
right. It was great. We don't want that.
Yeah. And because Philly is a tough place to be at when you're the opposing team. I've been to a game of Seahawks fan. I've been there during a Seahawks fan, and luckily I was sitting kind of close where my friend was like, if you were up there, you wouldn't be able to even show those colors like at all. I'm like,
Get serious.
Yeah,
It gets real serious.
But anyways, so let's get into some WNBA action while we have you here. This is mainly, we know this is something that you really enjoy. This is something that you're all about. I don't know. Is that my phone or your phone?
No, that was mine. I turned my TV.
Okay, no worries.
Go ahead.
So the Olympics team roster got announced. Of course, all the names we figured would be on there. There was one individual that didn't get on the team, and there seems to be some, mixed feelings as to what I know. Coach Fisher went hard for her. Kind of wanted to see your thoughts on, what you think about the predicament, and should like Taurasi or someone else not be able to play? Should she be picked? Would you take it if you were, her, and you didn't get on there initially, but then you get the second thought? Like
I don't know. You got a lot of unpack with that question there. But Terrika, what do you think as far as Ogwumike just getting snubbed with that?
Yeah. So there is incredibly a lot to unpack in this particular situation. But I will say this. Number one, Nneka could not be me because she's so graceful. She takes it on the chin every time. She is such an incredible leader and an incredible person. I am petty. And that is the difference, because my petty would not allow me to remain silent and to just take the high road in this situation. She's a multiple time All-Star, WNBA champion, WNBA MVP.
Right.
Like, she's the only MVP to not make a roster. And honestly, there's just no sense in it. There are way too many players. And honestly, it's not even Bird and Taurasi for me, although I do understand the comparison that, there's this notion that her injury would have impaired her from being able to play. And that's been called out by several people as not being true, that her timeline would have worked for her to be able to play in the Olympics. But so there's that comparison between Taurasi also having been injured and being selected or whatever. So she's not even the person that I would have left off the roster. If we're being completely honest, and I absolutely am going to be completely honest, I'm not sure I would have chosen Nafisa over her. She's 2019 rookie. She's got time. The Olympics happens once every 4 years. You've got to get players in their prime. You've got to get players when they're ready to dominate. And for Nneka to have been able to participate in as many Team USA activities as she was, to be so, a part of what they were putting together and not be selected. And I get it, Dawn Staley, she's the head coach. She's not the person who does the selections. They have a selection committee. It's hard to turn a blind eye and not say that there must have or should or could have been some other factors involved in her not being selected. But she definitely was snubbed, and it's definitely not fair.
Yeah, I just, and it's kind of like one of those things where there were, like you said, it's every 4 years. And in this case, maybe it'll be 3 years because we're a year off from 2020. But I think 5 players that were all fairly new, first-time Olympians at least. And, maybe one of those people could have made it for the next season, whereas maybe Nneka could have had it this year. It just, at least she had her sister got her back. She got the coach got her back. And I think some people don't realize is that unlike maybe the WNBA All-Stars, fans can't vote this in. So really it's a collection of whoever's on that committee and what they got against her, really.
I will say, though, I think this is what's going to make this WNBA All-Star game really interesting, because where usually there is just an exhibition and usually it's just, fun and games. I think there might add a little bit of excitement to it this year, because you'll have people who feel like maybe they were slighted or snubbed, and it might not just be exhibition. It may actually be like, I feel like I want to have something to prove, because think about it. If you're Team USA and you lose to Team WNBA, people are going to question. I mean, in that same aspect, we think that we have the best players in the world in the USA. So if you're going to lose, you should lose to the other American team. But you're going to have people questioning, should different people have been on that team? In an opposite aspect, if you're Team USA, you've got something to prove again. I mean, if you're Team WNBA, you've got something to prove against Team USA. You may have wanted to be on that team, you know? So I just think it's going to make this All-Star game very interesting to watch for sure.
Yeah. And just for those that are listening and watching, the All-Star game is going to be here in Las Vegas, July 14th. And it is going to be Team USA versus Team WNBA All-Stars. So yes, it's a format that hasn't been done before. And it is definitely going to be interesting to see how this plays out for sure. So the other thing that because me and Mo both went to the Aces versus Liberty games that were here in Las Vegas. And, you know, both of us were excited to go because we wanted to see Sabrina Ionescu. We wanted to see her playing. And she didn't play the game I was there for. She did play the game that Mo was there for. But the Liberty, I think, you know, last year prior to her injury, you know, there was this big hype with the Liberty. Then the injury happened. She comes back after being off injury. And, you know, I think that I read that there was like 6 games she had under 10 points. And it's just like, what's happening with Sabrina? Do we notice if there's, you know, is there something going on with her? Maybe is there still something injury wise? Is there something happening with the Liberty themselves? Or what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think the biggest issue for me is that they're still finding themselves defensively. Sabrina is still nursing that ankle, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's going to take some time in terms of being able to really get back and contribute the way that you want to. But it's not for lack of offensive presence, though, because Benijah Laney is balling. She was most improved player last year, and she's very much in the category this year for most valuable player. And I think that's important. This team doesn't go as Sabrina goes, as so many people like to think. This team goes as their offense and defense should allow them. And the problem is they're defensively confused. You know, their last couple of games, they've given up 100 points, 103 points. They haven't really figured out how they're going to be able to, you know, make up for the missing in action of, remember, they were supposed to have Natasha Howard, who was supposed to be able to provide this for them. And unfortunately, you know, she's out and not going to be able to play. So they're still finding themselves defensively, but you know, I think Sabrina's going to be fine. I think this team, for lack of better terms, is going to be fine. We saw in the beginning of the season how they were able to put together some chemistry. They're still figuring that out. A lot of these players are still figuring out what they want to do and how they're going to interact with each other on the court. Look at Michaela Onyenwere. I mean, she's amazing. Definitely a candidate for Rookie of the Year. And what she's doing and how she's contributing isn't exactly what she was doing when she was in college at UCLA. So it's still transitioning. It's still finding yourself. But I think that the Liberty are going to be fine. But you genuinely can't compare that to the Aces. I mean, come on.
Right.
That's like that's forget team. There's Team USA, there's Team WNBA, and then there's Team Aces. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
They are one of the most complete team, if not the most complete team in the league right now. So, you know, it's a little difficult to kind of compare whether or not another team is playing up to par when you've got to face Asia and Liz and Terrika day in. And I mean, that's
absolutely.
That's an incredible feat.
Yeah, not to mention that game that I watched with the Liberty. Sabrina was definitely on limited minutes, but you could tell with those limited minutes of her playing that she was definitely needed if she was 100%, you know, as far as trying to take on our ladies, because our ladies ended up killing them. Not literally, but figuratively in the sense of the points and just the playmaking and everything else, and the defense. All of that was on, especially in the fourth quarter. They just took off. So it wasn't really much they could do at the end of that. They do have to look at, to your point, like I don't think it's over, but they just have to look at different adjustments and things they need to make. And like you said, Natasha Howard being missing is just not, you know, feasible for them. But our team is all time. I mean, we went to the finals last season and sadly we lost. And I personally hope that we are the first team in Vegas. I would love our Knights to do something, but we'll talk about that later. I would like the Aces to be the first team to bring a championship to Las Vegas. This is my home city. So if I were to have a rathers of who, and even with my beloved Raiders being here, I still would want the Aces to set the tone and bring that first championship here, because not only will you get the viewership, because we still have a city that's not behind them. And for you speaking highly of that team, that should make people all the more reason to go check these ladies out. And now that they're opening some of the capacity up a little bit, you're seeing more people sit courtside now. You're getting looks with some of the Raider players down in conjunction, showing up to games. Hopefully, we will look like the team that they're worthy of. They are very worthy of our support, and they're worthy of getting their flowers for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, think about this. Vegas has just became a franchise. Like, I mean, granted, there were the Utah Stars and then the San Antonio Silver Stars.
Yeah.
So we get all of that. But as far as like this team, the Las Vegas Aces, this is their fourth season. Like, this is brand new for them to be able to put together the kind of team with the kind of roster. And hey, I know a little something about Bill Laimbeer. I'm a Detroit girl. I was a Detroit Shock fan. So I know he knows how to breed championship pedigree, and he has the right team to do it. And keep in mind, this is all without Angel McCoughtry.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is a very dangerous team. They've been in the mix for a very long time. Outside of the first season, they've been in the mix every single year. So there is a team that you can count on to put in the championship conversation yearly. I don't see that changing for Las Vegas, and I definitely don't see it changing as long as A'ja Wilson is on that roster.
And not to mention our bench is even so deep now with new acquisitions of our rookies. We got Plum Sauce back. Lady
I
Tim,
know.
I mean, she is so Plum Sauce. Plum Sauce is coming with it. Okay, she's so saucy out on that court, coming in off the
Love
bench.
her.
It's not even funny. So you've got her to mention. I mean, we are a stacked squad. And to your point, no Angel McCoughtry either. Oh yeah, the sky's the limit. We have to win a championship this season. I couldn't see us not.
It has to be, because last year we get to the finals and we're missing Liz and Kelsey, and now we're missing Angel, but we also got Chelsea Gray, who's been like phenomenal. Man,
Rakenna Williams, shooting threes. That is all. You know what I mean? So you've got all of that on this bench and this squad. It's just it's super elite, and I just wish our city could just wrap themselves behind it, just to know that these ladies are the real deal and they're not playing any games.
Absolutely. I would not be the Connecticut Sun fan I am if I say that I want y'all to win a championship.
Of course not. I get it.
But from an analyst perspective, from putting the fan hat aside, like you there's no way. And I'm guessing that, I'm not even gonna guess. I know that, coming off of a global pandemic, getting people back into the stadium, getting people back into the swing of being around and being comfortable, that's going to take time. And I get that, right? But you're absolutely right. This team is worthy of all the support. They're the real goods. Like, they are the real deal, the real goods. And you are doing yourself a disservice by not taking an opportunity to go check them out live.
Absolutely. We do have a question from somebody. Terrika, greetings. This is from Les. His question is, what the heck is going on with Sparks? We can beat Chicago, but we have a problem with everybody else in the WNBA. The Sparks have been kind of going through it. I mean, you lose Candace Parker. There's all this changes within the organization. What can you call it as far as from what you're seeing?
That's exactly what it is, in my opinion. It's an identity crisis. I don't think the Sparks know exactly who they are. And on top of that, they are dealing with injuries from multiple players. Nneka is out. She's not playing, as we just discussed. She's dealing with injury. Chene is also out. She's dealing with injuries. You got Amanda Zawi B trying to figure out her place in there. Taya Cooper is doing a great job with trying to fill in at the guard position, but ultimately, this team just hasn't quite figured out their identity yet. And you never really want to count them out, because we kind of did that last season. And at the end of the season, that bubble season, they started to find their rhythm a little bit. They brought themselves, I just don't know if that's going to happen this year without Candace. And this is the start of a new era for this LA team. This is the post-Candace era, and we're going to see how they identify themselves as such without her there. It's going to be difficult. It has been difficult. They started this season, and I'll be honest, I really didn't expect them to come out and be a 10-3 team. But I did expect a little bit more offense from them. I expected a little bit more cohesiveness from them. And unfortunately, that's just not what we've gotten. And when you've got a team that just hasn't been able to gel with themselves, it's going to be difficult for them to find a rhythm to win. And that's just kind of what we got going on in LA right now.
And have you seen where they play? Somebody had posted pictures of, and it looks like a high school gym with not even a crowd on one. It's like a wall on one side. It's almost like a Wubble, but without the decorations. And it's plain Jane. And everybody's like, granted, Staples may take a lot more to power up to play them, but no one's there. Why can't these ladies enjoy, the perks of having the same city as, Lakers and Clippers? It was kind of atrocious just to see what they were playing in, because I was like, the fans were on bleachers.
Yeah, I saw that as well, and that like confused me a little bit, because there were some times where I thought I saw Staples Center on the floor, and I was like, that can't. I've been to Staples multiple times. That can't possibly be the Staples Center. So I honestly have no idea what's going on in that regard, but that is just an entirely different conversation when it comes to just in general how WNBA teams are managed as far as the accommodations that they receive from certain people. I'll give you a perfect example of that. The Minnesota Lynx play at the Target Center, which is the same place that the Minnesota Timberwolves play, and they have astonishing accommodations, from the weight room to the way that they're marketed to everything about them. They feel like a true counterpart of their NBA, of their NBA segment. And it's just unfortunate that other teams don't have like that same kind of camaraderie when it comes to facilities and accommodation and marketing and all of that. So hopefully we'll get to that place, because I see that happening. So hopefully we get to that place. I love that, more NBA players are really invested and really showing so much support for WNBA players. But I would love to see, owners and facilities and executives kind of put that same thing behind to work with some of these WNBA teams until they get at least self-sufficient to be able to have some of these their own arenas and establishments and things of that nature.
Definitely. There is
what
a
does that
question.
look like as far as the real quick, what does that look like for the profit, as far as, because you have to understand, we're 25 years into the WNBA and none of the teams have turned a profit at all. So I think to your point, as far as having people come in and partner with that, what does that framework look like as far as them actually turning a revenue? Because the Aces lost over $1 million their previous season and the season before that. They have yet to turn profit along with these other teams. What do you think that's going to take to get them up to that level? How many more years do you think it's going to see before we see that we're when we're on the other side? That's good.
Honestly, that's a really good question. And I wish I knew the answer to that. But the truth is I don't. What I do know is that we sometimes fall into this habit of wanting to compare where we are right now to where the NBA is right now. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing. I'm just generally.
Right. No.
That's, there's a lot of times people do that. And I think that people need to understand, and fans need to understand, that 25 years to 70 years is not at all the same. When you look at where the WNBA is right now in its 25th season compared to where the NBA was in its 25th season, it's actually surpassed it a bit. Fan attendance, for example, the average fan attendance in the NBA in its 25th year was around 7,000. The average fan attendance now in its 25th year is about 10,000. So when you look at numbers like that, you tend to understand better where we are, where the WNBA is, and how much further it has to go. But it would get there a lot faster, in my opinion. This is not, anything that's etched in stone, but it's in my opinion. I feel like we would reach that mark at a quicker pace if we had more NBA support from a standpoint of other than I am here and the players are wearing our sweatshirts and representing, like, that's all great. And that goes to the marketing side of it, that goes to the promotion side, to the fan side, to driving people to the seats, to driving people to their social media, to driving tickets. Like, those things are awesome. So I'm not at all like saying don't do that. And I'm not at all saying like players shouldn't continue to do that, because that's the kind of camaraderie that we need and want to continue to see. I'm just also saying, in addition to that, it'd be great to have some support on the back end to help these teams be able to turn the profit that they deserve.
Very true. Very true.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does. So back to our question from Miss Bolandi. This has been this year has been a lot of releasing of players only to re-sign them. What do you think the major reason has been? She said, i.e., with Claire Dawn as well.
Yeah, I can tell you the major reason is that there just simply is not enough space. So number one, there's only 12 teams in the league. There's only 12 spots, 144 players, and that's it. You've got this year, we had about 56 women enter the WNBA draft. There's just simply no place for 56 women. Now, when you also add to the fact that there are players who are playing overseas for different Euro basketball, who have different obligations for whatever country it is that they may be representing, they have different obligations as far as when they need to report, when they don't need to report, things of that nature. And so you have hardship, where if your team falls below 10 players, then you need to add certain people in order to bring you back up to the 12. So you've seen a lot of players get cut, get brought back, get waived, get brought back, get to switch. And that's just simply because there just is not enough space. So, I look at Alexi Brown, for example. She's amazing. She deserves to be on a roster, but she's been, waived twice from Chicago and brought back. So, it does not at all have anything to do with the level of play of the women that are in this league. It just simply has to do with there's just not being enough space. And back to what we're talking about, when it comes to investing in this league, we need to, consider investing so that we can expand. There's enough talent to where, let's think about how do we get investors to get more teams? How do we, establish in Canada? Because the Raptors would love
I bet,
was always
that's a great
point. So with all that being said, to answer your question, it's definitely not about the talent. The talent pool is so high and the bar continues to raise that there just simply isn't enough spots for everyone. And that's why we keep seeing players be waived and brought back later.
Well, I know the Lynx have like this revolving door around them they've been having. It's like every day, new day, there's another player leaving and another player coming.
But LaChina Clarendon, though, thank goodness for her. She definitely has come. But the Lynx has been a little bit disappointing for me this year. I know they'll figure it out too. They had a lot of players that were coming back late, but they were a little disappointed. I think they're like 5-7. You just never think, when you think Minnesota, Cheryl Reeve, you're like 5-7. What's that?
Well, and ultimately, it all kind of circles back around to investing in the WNBA and investing in time and money, because if the players were getting paid what they should be getting paid, they wouldn't have to go play overseas and be coming in late and having to report late to practice or late to the season. So I think all that things taken. I hope that there can be an expansion. I know it takes time. There's not the money yet to make that happen, but it would be great to have like a 16-team league and give. And because there's especially with people like Bird, you got Sue Bird at 40 still playing. A lot of these ladies are older and they're playing great, so we don't want them to leave. But then you got all these new girls coming up, and they need a place to play because they're good too. So it's a difficult match.
Well, the best thing they can do is probably condition overseas, get a contract overseas, play, keep their level up of playing action, and then just try to go for next season if they can. Without that draft. It's so competitive.
It's so competitive. And that was actually one of the reasons we had a conversation with Simone Augustus, who retired this year from the LA Sparks. And she, she said, listen, my body was telling me that it was time, it was time to be done. I just physically couldn't do it anymore. When you couple that with also thinking about all of these young players who, might not have a spot because you have a 15, 16-year vet, then you start to think like, okay, what do I really want to do here? And in Simone's case, she said that was enough for her after, consulting with her family. That was enough for her to say, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and hang it up, because that gives me an opportunity to get my body together. It gives another opportunity for another player coming up who wouldn't usually have a spot. And she got into coaching, which is something I would love to see more WNBA players do once they're done playing, to transition over into coaching, whether that's on the collegiate level or whether that's on the professional level. But there's just so much that I feel so much that they still have left to give the game, that I would just love to see them make a transition into some other role within the league or within the collegiate level that would allow them to continue to still share what they know about basketball and what they've learned along the way to some of these youngers coming up.
Mm-hmm. That would be amazing.
That would be. I agree.
I know we're cutting close on time here for you. I just wanted to ask you, since you do work with and cover some of the Suns games, I did want to talk to you a little bit about the Liz Cambage and Coach Miller incident that took place. How big was it out there for the Suns organization and for you guys out there versus what we had out here? I'm wondering, and kind of your take on the situation.
Yeah, that was a really interesting situation. And God bless Liz. I just, she's my spirit animal. I swear it is. Because she just says, she comes real and she's so authentic, and you've got to love that about her. And you can also tell that, Coach Kurt Miller, he understood what he said was wrong, was just, there's just no other way to say it. He understood what he said was wrong. And, I try to put myself in the position of, like, if I said something unflattering about somebody and they heard me, I might change my mind. I might, but I also might not, and be like, I said what I said and I meant what I said. It is what it is. Kurt Miller apologized because he genuinely did not mean for it to be in the way that it was meant. And that was the reason that there was a conversation before the Aces played Connecticut out here, between Liz and Kurt, because Kurt is a guy who has a lot of respect for the women in this league. He's a guy who's been coaching in this league. He's also someone who honestly comes from a marginalized community. It's no secret that he's the only male openly gay head coach in the league. And he definitely understands what it means, to be disrespected for something that you really shouldn't be disrespected for, right? And so because of that, a lot of Connecticut fans just kind of shut up. We was like, hey, we ain't really got much on this one for you. But yeah, it was definitely a situation where Liz was like, hey, she called out what she felt was unfair. He apologized for it. He genuinely meant it. And they were able to move forward from there. Now, of course, when, she got in the building, there were the boos. I was there. There were the boos. There was the smack talk. You were going to get that anyway, Liz. It was just elevated a little bit due to the situation. But all in all, it was left on the court, which is where it should be. And I think they've done a great job moving forward from here.
Yeah, awesome. I agree.
Yeah, gosh. And I don't want to say one more question, but I mean, just real quick, because I want you to also talk about, kind of give us where everybody can find the Above the Rim, Around the Rim podcast, and how what you've been bringing into that podcast. But one of the questions prior to that was just, what advice would you give to like younger women out there that are trying to get into the sports journalism aspect to get to a level like you or LaChina and the women that are dominating right now in this sports industry for the women's sports?
Yeah, I would just say, I know this is going to sound super cliche, but I would definitely just say go for it, right? Because here's the thing. There aren't enough women right now covering women's sports. So if you are looking to cover women's sports, literally just go for it and do it. I say that by saying, if you're a blogger, there are so many people who I've come across who started off simply by blogging about what they saw. And now, with League Pass, with so many different avenues to be able to cover games without actually having to be there. And the pandemic has definitely helped us with that in regards of their Zoom conference calls and everything. Now, there are definitely opportunities for you to get involved and to cover the games and cover the sports that you love without actually being there. All experience is experience, right? There's misconception that you have to work for a Fox or ESPN or CBS in order to get experience. And it's just not the case. Get as much experience as you possibly can. Reach out to fellow journalists. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, people, but we're actually nice. We're actually nice. Like, we respond. And one thing I can definitely say is, since I've been a part of this industry, I have been loved on and poured into by so many other Black women journalists that it has truly helped me embrace where I want to go and what I want to do. And it hasn't been because it's too few of us to have a crabs in a barrel mentality, right? So I can honestly say, from what I've experienced, it's always been, let's help another sister. Let's pull another woman up. Let's give her the tools that she needs to help her be successful. If I'm in a room and I know that you know how to cover this team better than I have no problem saying, hey, I'm not going to be able to do it for you, but let me introduce you to blah, 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 blah. We've done that multiple times and it worked. So I would definitely say to other women wanting to look into getting into this, continue to get as much experience as you can. Don't think you need to be with a major network in order to get it. Network in terms of meet other people, put your name out there, put your stuff out there, because it helps. It helps and it's needed. And in regards to the podcast, you can always find the podcast on Apple, Spotify, any place that you find your regular podcast. It's Around the Rim with LaChina Robinson. We've been doing this podcast since 2016. We actually started it together. Both of us had two different separate conversations with two different groups of people. And those groups of people were like, you need to meet Terrika. Well, you need to meet LaChina. And that's how it started. It was just natural chemistry with us. And it's been great. It's been really great. We haven't had anyone in women's basketball who we've ever asked, who we've ever requested, who we've ever just said, hey, can you give us 5 minutes of your time, 10 minutes of your time? And everyone has always said yes. LaChina has such a great rapport with so many people in women's basketball that they have honestly said, we do anything, right? You need us for 10 minutes, you need us for 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's great.
It's been amazing. I remember a couple of years ago, we were at the Final Four and I asked Dawn Staley if she'd be able to come and be a part of the show. We were doing a live show and she was like, I'm not sure. I'm going to try, but I'm not sure. I've got, this meeting, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, cool, no pressure. Like this is Dawn Staley we're talking about. I'm like, no pressure, whatever. She can't make it. No big deal. And like 5 minutes into the show, I get a text that's like, hey, this is Coach Staley. I moved some things back because I didn't want to miss this. So I'm coming over and I'm like, we will make room for you, Coach Staley. You come over here. That's just how amazing that it feels to be a part of this, that, someone of the caliber of Dawn Staley is willing to work her schedule to be able to come and be on our show. And
that's magic.
It's just a blessing.
I love it. Well, thank you so much. Where can people find you? Like on Twitter, Instagram? I don't know if you have it's the same on both, but let us know where we can find you so that the listeners can follow you and keep up with the podcast, with everything that you're doing. I know that you also have like the She Knows Sports.
Sportswear.
Yeah, that's actually where that's where you can find me. I am on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as She Knows Sports. It's She Knows Sports _ on Instagram, but just She Knows Sports on Twitter and Facebook. I also have my own clothing line called She Knows Sportswear. So please feel free to check out at She Knows Sports on all social platforms. And the only other thing I'm doing is I also have a YouTube vlog called Take Two, where I just try to throw out whatever random thing comes to my head in 2 minutes. So Take Two on YouTube. And thank you, ladies, so much for this opportunity. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you. Hopefully we'll catch you out here one time for the Aces or maybe the All-Star game.
Hopefully, I'm trying to make it for All-Star. So if I do, I'll definitely let you guys know.
Yeah, sounds good. Do. Thank you so much again. Have a good night. Thanks, night.
Guys.
We know it's late for you. Thank you. Bye. How fun. That was dope.
Terrika,
yes.
Eureka, Terrika.
Thanks, Ms. Bolland. We appreciate the questions. We appreciate everyone that's tuned in. I'm sorry we didn't kind of go through them throughout there. I wanted to get our interviews underway. What's the game check?
So game check is 112-111 with 29.8 seconds. Atlanta up by 1.
Wow. So this could be an OT move.
Yes. Well, it could be a closeout from the Hawks. They have no stars, and they just come up.
I'm still in shock that they're here. I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. I can't pick who would win this championship. I do feel a championship is coming from the East this season. I don't see it coming from the West. Yeah. The way these Hawks are playing, I don't know.
But if CP3 can come back and stay healthy, I don't know. I think the Suns
I don't know if he's a match
really...
for the East, though. I don't know if he's a match for the East.
I don't know. Maybe that's just your Lakerism vibe that you're getting.
No, not at all. Because I really would love to see Phoenix, and I feel like Chris Paul is definitely deserving of a championship ring. There's no player currently on this league that does not deserve a ring more than Chris Paul does. I'm just looking at these Hawks. And they ain't just coming from nowhere for a reason.
Shout out to Nneke McMillan. Yes, former Sonic. That's how we roll. Yes, but I'm impressed.
I mean, I don't know. They're coming from some place where there's no stars on this team. There's no majors.
Look at Atlanta maybe finally pulling through with a winning team.
114-111 with 14.13. Man, listen. Let's look at this right quick. Bucks have the ball. Let's see if they can go in and score. They D'd up on them so tough. Yeah, let's send them to the line.
Dang. Okay. Well, that was a great interview.
It's a thing where they could do with Giannis. You know what I mean? They can totally.
Giannis is great, but he hasn't necessarily had incredible
I mean,
moment.
he does good, but the thing of it is you can D up on him and shake him.
Yeah.
He's shakeable. It's not like a KD where he'll put you on skates and you can't D up on this guy. Giannis
Man,
is totally
KD
different.
in the game on Saturday, though.
I'm not surprised. That's a karma game all day.
Like, to know that your foot was like literally a half an inch on the line and you could have just won it right there. Instead, it goes to overtime and then you lose. Like, oh man, killer.
It was to be expected. I wasn't seeing Brooklyn going anywhere anyway.
I mean, I was hoping,
I know you were, but I wasn't, because they put Harden on your team. Put James Harden on your team, you're not going anywhere. It's just that simple.
It's the curse.
He wasn't 100% himself. You know what I mean? So
no.
It's just bad all the way around.
Oh, so CP3 is possibly back for tomorrow. They mentioned him as being, so that's good. Hopefully he doesn't rush it though, and nothing, further happens, but hopefully he comes back completely healthy. God, if the Hawks win, I'm just amazed already for game one.
I'm getting an MLK jersey. Simple as that. Anyway.
Yeah.
Even if they don't win,
those MLK are fire anyway.
Fire that I have to.
The MLK jerseys are fire.
Yeah,
have they been wearing them the whole playoffs? I feel like they've been having luck with them.
Yeah, I mean, luck with or without. I mean, ice tray is just that cold, and I'm just like 5.3 seconds, and it's 114, 113, and it's Atlanta's ball in the next play.
It's
after timeout. Give it up to this
crazy.
coach, because this coach is amazing too. Like, he has really coached this team up. Like I said, there are no big stars on this team.
Nathan Millen, man, he's doing some things.
Like, he is. Ice tray is just that cold. Jeez.
Oh my gosh.
Yikes.
So in other news, we talked earlier with Terrika about the WNBA.
Terrika.
With the WNBA's USA team. We also had the men's USA team, which was announced today.
Yes.
So that's going to be fire. Also, for you guys that don't know, the USA teams are having exhibition and practice and games here in Las Vegas before they leave for Tokyo. So not to mention NBA Summer League, as well as
Big
the
Three
USA basketball
and Big Three later on. Yeah.
Like, there's hoops in Vegas nonstop. So if you don't have something to do, there's guaranteed a game or something that you can get into. Basically, majority of July, like that.
Yeah,
the middle 2 weeks of July is going to be intense. Celtics hired a new coach.
Yes, congratulations.
Nia Long's boo. Apparently, I didn't even know he had a boo. I didn't even know this coach was around. But then I've got all the.
I never heard of the guy until I saw it, and I was like,
all the Twitter memes about how Tristan Thompson's going to be looking at practice once Nia Long walks in the court, and
hey, okay, add that to the roster. The many others that he's with. Three in a room for 30 minutes.
Oh God, I can't. Do you have any thoughts on the Harlem Globetrotters wanting to have an NBA team,
or the fact that they're saying that give them their flowers for having the contribution to some of these NBA players that's extended from Harlem Globetrotters?
That was in the early 60s, 70s. I mean,
it's still historic that
it's great. Did they get there? I mean, here's the deal. Has anybody in the league in the last 30, 40 years been playing in the Globetrotters?
No,
I don't see how they are distinguished to now get their own NBA team and how they can compete with the NBA teams. They don't play NBA teams when they're playing their little
comedy, it's a little trick play and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, give them their flowers for their contribution to the history of
for
NBA,
sure. But do they get a team? Come on.
I mean, hey, I've seen stranger things. I've seen people get coaching jobs that didn't deserve coaching jobs.
Speaking of which,
throw their bid in on that and see how that.
Becky Hammond is a finalist in the running for the Portland Trailblazers.
Yes, she is.
So
well deserved. She needs to be.
Man, listen.
She needs to be.
They're still.
I mean, it's not even a thing about we're saying. Race, women, who's the right person for the job? I don't want this to be given a job just because it looks good or it's supposed to make us feel better, just to appease a quota. No, you give it to the right person that is deserving for it, who has worked hard for it, who is knowledgeable enough, has the skill enough to be a coach for Portland. And if she's in the forefront and she gets it, that's it.
And that's what the GM and the organization should be doing.
That's what they need to be doing.
Those are the calls they should be making.
116, 113, Hawks up, 4.6 seconds left.
Wow. What's
You
up,
mean to tell me
Mr.
you guys?
Steven
What's
Senior?
up,
Thanks
Mr.
for checking
Senior?
in.
Happy belated Father's Day to all you dads out there.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. You mean to tell me these Hawks are really going to beat these guys
At
in Milwaukee?
home,
I don't want to
game
call my
one.
friend. I don't want to call my friend. I'll let him sit for a few days.
He mad
I know
too.
he's out there pulling out what hair he's got left.
He about to jump off the balcony.
Gosh, dog, and please don't do that.
Oh man, Steven said if he was Becky,
he'd take another job coming behind Pop. I mean,
yeah. I mean, who knows how much longer Pop has? I mean, she could try and stay there and you know, maybe
he may be in a denial phase of not never leaving. He might be one of those that just stays until there's no hair left on his head. Like seriously, if there's opportunities as women, we need to take them. And if we're getting shopped, and if someone is making an offer to us or wanting to meet with us, you go meet with them. Yeah. If it don't work out, then maybe that's just not the way.
She can still be there. She can still be there next season if it don't work out. So.
Yeah, if it doesn't work out, you know, it doesn't. Yeah, she got to sit and wait. Let's go and get her head coaching job. Get her that HC. Yes. Hey, wait a minute. Is this over?
What happened?
Did I miss this? These doggone Hawks done beat Milwaukee 116-113. Ice Trae has over 46 points in this game. I'm sorry. I think it's Atlanta. I know it's early. I know we got a best of 7. What is going on?
They came in listen. Twitter's gonna go gonna go up in flames. These Hawk fans are no joke on the Twitter. They be going in on some folks.
Well, if they're just as bad as Bayhive, I can only imagine.
They went in on some Trick Daddy, didn't they?
I was a part of that too. Not the putting about the restaurant. They went way far on that.
That was a little tough.
I understand because he should have known better. You know, the 3 main groups of fan bases: Barb's for Nicki Minaj, Little Uzi Vert fans, and Bayhive. They don't play. Some of these kids have
Uzi Vert fans too.
Oh, they're real.
I had no idea.
They're real. Yeah, don't say nothing bad about him either. I mean, you should have tread light saying that kind of ignorant statement. You should have never said that publicly. Yes, you're entitled to your own opinion, but when you make it public, and the Bayhive is listening, and you have to understand that the Bayhive comes in all shapes, forms, and colors all around this world.
You just can't.
They got time. They made his restaurant 2.6 star rating review. That is awful. And the truth of the matter is, people are saying in Florida that his restaurant is slapping, and the line is around the building. But you cannot be looking at reviews that say, "Oh, there's roaches in the restaurant. I tried this," and then somebody said, "All the food was bad, but the lemonade was on." The shade for Beyonce and the lemonade thing, like they're going in. Don't mess with that high, honey. Did you not learn the lessons from Kid Rock? Did you not learn the lessons from all these other people whose Instagram timelines and feeds were just flooded with bees? Like, don't mess with
that. You can't do all that.
Don't rattle the hornet's nest. Don't rattle the hornet's nest.
Do all that.
It is so crazy.
Also, hot topic. Your Raider, Carl. Is it Nassib?
Yes, Carl Nassib. Let's go.
Nassib he came out on Monday, and since then he has the highest selling jersey in the entire NFL.
I'm not surprised by that.
Listen,
I'm not surprised by that.
All I gotta say,
and I'm sure his DMs are just kind of out of overflowing.
I wouldn't doubt it. He's a good-looking guy.
He sure is. He's very cute. I just need him to get some sacks this season. That's all I care about. You know,
right? Just keep playing. Play hard. Play hard.
What do you think? I'm like, this man's been on our team. It's not even about what do I think. Okay, he's revealed some personal things about him that's probably blocking his mentalities on the field. That's probably not being allowed for him to be around some of his fellow brethren. And I'm sure they knew, and I'm sure his family knew. It was just a matter of him coming to a sense where he was comfortable and sharing. And now that he can, let's just get some sacks. Sack these doggone quarterbacks, man.
Yeah.
I need our defense.
I mean, it's hard. I'm sure it's got to be hard to have to keep something like that in, especially in the locker room, especially during practice when you're spending this much time with people and maybe they don't know. Like it's hard to put up.
Absolutely. And it's not over for him. Don't think he's not going to get clowned or teased.
Of course.
And there's probably fellow teammates that are not in agreement to what his personal life is about. But again, this is going to be it's a huge step for the league. Shout out to Michael Sam because he was one of those that tried to pave the way on that. Shout out to past players who came out after playing
the
in the
fact,
league,
yeah,
long since retired. You probably have several men or women in professional sports that are not able to share their truths just yet because of what is stigmatized as far as that
and I
goes.
think especially in the NFL,
in sexual orientation.
You know, I think we've seen it, so we don't see as much, like, you know, WNBA, we see that. I think probably more so in that league versus others, but
you got women's soccer out there, you got tennis players out there, female golfers out there, you know, you've got Olympians. I mean, there's people still not being able to live their truth, and that's the unfortunate thing.
And it's unfortunate, yeah.
And hopefully with him and his donation that he made, will kind of navigate those waters a little bit better for people to be more comfortable to facing their truth.
Most definitely. I'm all for it.
So I'm all for it.
him.
I just need him to get some sacks. I don't care what he does. I don't care what he does off the field. I'm going to be in the Raiders Stadium. I want to see you do some defense. That's what I want to see.
Yeah.
So, you know, and, you know, some people have made jokes about it. Joey Behar had to apologize on A View for her.
She'd be out of line. She had a line a lot.
You know, and the thing of it is you think you're on a line of saying something that's funny, that's a little quip and is clever, but at the end of the day, we need to be sensitive to everybody's feelings and understand that this was a huge step for him and it's nothing to joke about. Yeah. But yeah, she apologized, which that's cool. We'll roll with it.
I know we had touched a little bit about, you know, wanting to have the Aces be the first championship that's brought home. We know our Golden Knights are in the Stanley Cup playoff semifinals. We had a great win on I think it was Saturday. Went to overtime and scored. Or no, it was Sunday. And then yesterday we come back to T-Mobile.
Yeah, we didn't have Robert Leonard starting. Simple as that. He said he was going to back up Fleury. I think when the Canadians initially made the first goal right at the start of the game, that's when the rotation needed to happen. We should have just been bouncing back between the two, because if you notice sometimes, and it's not all on Fleury either, these guys came out like bulldogs and thugs, you know, and I think sometimes our guys need to just consistently be those bulldogs and thugs and be an enforcer, and we just they're a little nice.
Well, we're getting power plays. We're not able to execute.
But we're not able to finish them, you know. And the thing of it is you're getting gimmies, but you're just not able because these guys came out so strong defensively. Yeah. And not to mention, sometimes if you ever notice Fleury, sometimes he's off balance on his skates. When he's in there, his balancing act with all the pads and everything, it gets a little shaky at times. And it's not an excuse or anything, but those were a lot of caustic mistakes. And just, I don't know. And that game before where he just ultimately just checked out, like just missed his mark or got off message, that just set the trend. I mean, we're in trouble, you guys. We're in trouble.
So it's 3-2. We go back to Canada.
Yeah, this is a must win, guys. We can't even be playing with y'all. This is a must win because this is the win or go home.
Listen, I need us to win. Like I need this. I need the Stanley Cup. I need the finals. I need all that. And because if so, it'll go into next week, which then will be my birthday, and then maybe I'll just decide to like splurge and go to a game because it'll be
that would be exciting for you for your birthday. I mean, I would love to see it happen. I hope it happens. They got to figure something out. This is not even funny anymore.
It's not. It really.
You were in the fortress, and you guys lost with 4 goals.
And they were beat bad. Like it wasn't even pretty. Yeah, it wasn't even good.
And I know our fans show up, and I know we give encouragement to those.
There were so many fans that were just so sad.
And we're all in, and it just was not enough. Because I said, no, they'll be at the fortress. It's gonna work. Our fans show up. You know, Vegas, we get in them. You know, we get that energy going and momentum. But no, it just didn't work. I don't know. Should have kept Leonard in. Is all I can say. He's a bigger guy. You probably would have been better with that. I don't know.
Yeah. So we got some sneaker drops and fit checks going to happen here. What's the place you told me to check out? Like we got some of these photos from GQ.
Oh no! If you guys are in your Instagram and best sports thing, I know they have league fits and all of those, but GQ Sports is always good. That's the Gentleman's Quarterly magazine, but they also feature the women athletes in there. So this was based off a GQ Sports story, and you can see some of these players here and what the
I love Kiana I love that shoot, but she graduated that, and that's why she had her little tassel and everything on. That was
I thought that was cute too, because she had finished school and stuff. But but again, it's not even about the messaging that you're trying to convey. It's the look. Can you pull the look off with that? And that's why the 28% is there for her as opposed to
I think over the denim jacket was a little.
Yeah, super brought that little heat with the t-shirt and everything.
And the kicks.
All of that, you know. And so it's the same
I just
thing.
love. Listen, Tia Cooper, her style I love, and this basketball purse she's got is.
Yeah, if that's an Amiri bag, because Amiri makes one like that, but I think they spray painted all black. That bag retails for a good $4,000. I don't know if that's something that she had custom made from somebody else, but I know shout out to Amiri because Amiri clothing also has the basketball as well, but it's just all black with the.
And look at Rajon Rondo with the DMX shirt on.
Oh yeah, and you know that was the DMX shirt. That was the Yeezy collab shirt that they were selling. That was the one Yeezy design that you could buy. So that was a good look. And you know, Chelsea Gray, hey, I'm with the romper. I'm with it. Rompers are in right now.
Is it a romper or is it a two-piece?
I think hers could be the camp shirt tucked in, but it could also be the romper, like the men's rompers they're doing. I'll say gender inclusive rompers because no, seriously, a lot of these fashion labels now are becoming gender inclusive. So it's very ambiguous. It's not an androgynous look. It's not a masculine look. It's just there. So I like that combination. I thought that was pretty fly. Too.
And then we got, these ones with the ladies. There's that purse again, of course.
Yes. Shout out to the ladies wearing these.
Look at Destiny out there in her Kings. Got her Kings on.
She's like our new Kayla McBride 2.0.
2.0.
Way better. Yeah. Shout out to the essentials. You know, I'm a big essentials person.
Yeah.
Fit check right now. I'm wearing my essentials black joggers.
Okay.
Nice and light, comfortable. So shout out to Fear God Essentials. That's a black owned brand that's just making its way through the fashion industry, just taking the world by storm, selling out in hours, selling out in minutes. You can't get your hands on it.
Keep it hot.
So I love it. Yeah.
So we got some sneaker drops.
Let's look at them.
Got the off-white AJ2 lows coming out September 23. I'm not a twos person. I'm not a two person, period. So
I'm not. I have a pair of twos, but the off-white low twos, they're just not doing it for me.
I don't got any twos, and these would definitely not be my first. So
no. I hear you on that. I agree.
You've got the LeBron South Beach that are coming out on the 10th of July.
Colorway. I was just talking about these. I don't like LeBron sneakers.
I'm not a LeBron sneaker fan either.
I think these are actually
the colorway's cool.
Nice.
And there's so many jerseys that have had like the fluorescent colors that would be kind of cute.
Well, it looks like the Miami Heat ones with that fluorescent, that the turquoise and pink. That's their jersey colors. So yeah. See that.
We've got
the number 6 again.
Let's see. We got the Air Jordan 4s, the Tech Whites. They come out in the 3rd. Those are clean.
I got enough white sneakers though. I'm done with white.
I don't really have any all white Jordans, but those aren't bad.
I got the Legend Blue 4s with the white with the blue.
Although these are the ones that I think I'd probably want right here.
Ooh,
the women's dunk. It's the women's Jordan 6 gold hoop. Drops 7-1.
I would go with those.
Those are hot.
Fire. I don't have a pair of 6s, but I get those.
I have a pair of 6s, but I don't really. They're super all black, dark. These are beautiful.
No, they're beautiful. I like the blush color and stuff. When are those releasing?
That's July 1st.
Oh, okay.
I've already hit my sneaker app for a notification. So.
Yeah, let's pray we get it. Oh God, sneaker gods.
Now here's one that I'm not sure if it's actually going to be coming out or not. But I think it was Kyrie or someone that had, this is a Kobe 6, it's the WNBA colorway.
Right.
I don't know if those will be coming out or not, but they're beautiful.
I doubt it.
Too.
They're fire though. They go with our hoodies, but I don't think they're coming out with Vanessa.
Speaking of which, I actually made a little purchase for myself.
Oh yeah, what'd you get?
Because I had a little birthday 20% to use, So I got me the Jordan Why Not? Got to go with the hoodie, right?
Oh yeah, let's see. Oh yeah, those are cool. I love the colors in them.
I love the colors.
Yeah, the colorways are nice.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
get it.
Gonna rock those.
Okay, why not? That.
Why not?
I like that.
Gotta support it. I loved it. So, anyways, that's our show for the evening, for the day. Oh, I didn't say do a girl power though. I do have a special girl power. Of course, we all know about Sha'Carri Richardson, who is now the fastest woman and broke the new world record. Only 21, Had
Shout out
a 10.64. What was
Shout
that?
out modern day Flojo.
Man, exactly. Nails, hair, all that. Keep it
Yep.
going. Keep it going.
That's
But you also got
that's-
Simone Manuel, who's going to go into the Olympics with swimming the 50 meters.
Yep.
And, you know, Randall Cunningham's daughter, I think it's Vashti, Vashti. She is headed to Tokyo as well for the high jump.
Nice.
She cleared 6'5". Look, I can jump like 5 inches, let alone 6 feet.
I can barely get my feet off the ground. Unless I'm sitting in a chair like this, a high chair.
So that's special girl power, of course. All Black, beautiful women that are all going to the Olympics. That's such a, I mean, listen, what an experience. It sucks that it's still probably going to be some kind of a bubble, I'm guessing, out there. Because I don't think I don't think Japan's even open yet. So
I'm still on the fence with that because they can't even show what the social injustices are and promote that as well. So, but I mean,
but it's still an opportunity for some of these athletes that get the chance to go there.
You got, it's an opportunity of a lifetime. You've got to do it. However, with the rules and confines of the Olympics, it's just like, don't, let us be able to have our voices heard around the world. I mean, it's just not enough right now.
It should be.
And it's surely
and it's not just the Americans. There's a bunch of other countries that would be doing the same.
That's what I'm saying. So. Why make it, keep that solidarity movement going, because we got to stay on their heads. And it can't be just assigning us a federal holiday to make us feel better. We need to have that message saying it all the time. And I appreciate you giving us the shout out to Black women, but also give out to every nationality. We just had Asian American Pacific Islander month. And, with the attacks and everything going on with that community, it's bad. Shout out to the athletes that are trying to make their voices heard. I think the Olympics need to just do better as far as.
And didn't you share with me there was a transgender?
Yes, he's from Japan. He's Japan. But it's
soccer.
Locally. I think he's a soccer guy. Yeah. Shout out to him. Japanese transgender. Yeah.
Most
Get
definitely.
into it.
Yeah.
It ain't just about us all the time. It's a whole bunch.
It's it's a bunch of people, but it makes it worse that there's an Asian hate issue, and there's an Asian country that won't let them people support the issues at hand.
Exactly. That's a problem. Issue. That's a problem.
So I'm still not. I might tune in for like maybe 1 or 2 things on the Olympics. I'm not sure yet. We'll have to see.
Hey, I'm with my ladies in spirit. I know they'll bring it. Let's go.
Maybe some ball and maybe some basketball. I mean, that's. But I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't know. ESPN for the highlights, I guess.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
Hey, shout out to House of Paws.
House of Paws.
You can find them at 1750 North Buffalo Drive on the corner of Buffalo and Vegas. Make sure you check them out online at houseofpawslv.com. Also house_of_paws_Las_Vegas. Whew, that's a mouthful.
House of Paws.
All your healthy food, treat supplements, and supplies for your dog or cat, where every paw matters. Go in there, mention Girl Chat Sports, or mention Tilly or Suge, because they're in there all the time.
They got clout, y'all. They got clout.
They do have a little clout. They can go in there freely, and they get to get treats from Megan and the staff there.
They're like the celebrities of the house.
I'm telling you, it's like Cheers. Like you walk in there, hey Tilly.
They know.
Everybody knows your name.
Everybody knows your name. House of Paws.
House of Paws.
Whose dog can I borrow to go up in there and get the clout of the discounted stuff? Maybe I'll get Rashad's dogs.
Yeah.
Shout out to Rashad.
There you go. You can always try to, Tilly loves it there. She'd probably love you for taking her there,
No, well, we have to mend our fences with that relationship.
We'll work on that. Anyways, you guys, we appreciate you tuning in again.
Yes.
Shout out to our special guest. We appreciate you, and we appreciate everyone that's tuned in. Hope everybody had a great Father's Day, and hopefully everybody has a safe week and weekend. We'll be back here.
Stay safe out there, you guys.
We will be back here again next week. So stay tuned.
We will.
All right.
Definitely.